Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, but it's the afternoon now. We've made it. I'm here. I made it. We postponed earlier today so that I could get a chance, a small chance at trying to regulate whatever is going on physically with me. So it kind of lines up in having this discussion on yoga for life and like what that means and what that looks like, and being able to have a greater discussion on how to incorporate yoga into your life. And I may be looking down periodically because I have a couple of notes and screens open that I'm just reviewing and want to make sure that I share the info as clearly as I can, and that you all walk away with something tangible, something you can take and use, you can apply to life, and really give yourself an opportunity to incorporate how to make yoga a part of your life. So, with that being said, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for showing up and being able to join us at a postponed time. With that being said, instead of having maybe tea in the afternoon as I normally would, just going by the way the day has been flowing, we're still at some coffee now that coffee can be tolerated for the day. I was going to share with you all a couple of other things that I kind of use or take into place. And there was a point in time, if you go back, deep dive streams and blah, 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 you will see that back in the day, there was a period of time, especially during the pandemic, where I used to take shots. So obviously, yes, there's a part of my life where if you also deep dive, you'll notice, man, every time she goes on vacation or seems to be enjoying herself, there's always a glass in her hand to enjoy some type of drink. But these particular shots were more along the lines of different healthy things that I incorporated into my life, such as taking ginger shots, taking wheatgrass shots. I don't know why I think wheatgrass tastes good. I know it's a thing. I'm fully aware, just if we're doing polls out here, looking at who liked red icing or just that taste of all the chemicals is pretty much what it boiled down to. If you get it, then you get it. And there was a part of me that thought the other day, I was like, I should just list all the things I like and go back to an old school version of, okay, now let's fight. Because people have strong opinions about different jellies and different things in the world that, ranch or blue cheese, just things that don't really make a hill of beans, but there's some really strong opinions about it. So with that, just to kind of get me to this place this morning, some things that I definitely took into consideration and things that I do on a regular basis anyways is, taking a couple of scoops of sea moss to see how that could help regulate some things out. And I know some pretty dope people that sell it. So if you're ever wondering, feel free to tag me. I can point you in directions of some amazing folks, depending on where you're at and or if they ship. Now into a place where ginger and turmeric is definitely a part of, the lifestyle if you're not getting a turmeric latte. And being very pleased to embrace and bring in some elderberry syrup, aside from like some wellness tinctures that I take just to keep things flowing and get it going good. Excuse me. So with that, with your attention, I want to bring it back to yoga. So one, some people may believe they can never do it. They're not going to do it. They've got all these ideals and concepts about it. I won't be breaking those down here because there's definitely some times where I have done that in the past, and you would have to deep dive unless we can tag some of those episodes where we maybe discussed a little bit more about yoga, or if you go into my vault of trainings and things I've done, I've definitely shared about it in different trainings that have been provided. But being able to embrace it as a lifestyle, requires a little bit more. So if you know that yoga, yes, is more than just the physical asanas, which is just one of the 8 limbs of what yoga actually is. So yoga being incorporated as a lifestyle, there's 8 limbs of yoga, and there's each particular one has some very specific things that you incorporate that include a holistic version of how you show up in the world. With that being said, if you go through and do your Google research and find out what are the 8 limbs of yoga, and you start looking at these different areas that pop up and how these 8 limbs incorporate a holistic existence of a person, bringing yoga into their existence, all of them touch on different areas of how you may want to show up in life, how you can go about creating different things, embracing different versions of yourself, shifting old ways of functioning and transitioning into new ones, aside from the ones that are most commonly known, which is the asanas. Those are the physical movements or the poses. I like to call it the movie meditation of yoga. With that being said, even looking at the movie meditation of yoga, there's a even smaller part that just connecting to your breath. So at any time that you've been able to take a significantly deep inhale in, hold, and then release out, you have officially just done yoga. So contrary to whatever your thoughts and beliefs are, you've already been incorporating it whenever you've given yourself that opportunity to do so. So imagine if this is just the beginning stage of it, there's so many other ways that you can start to incorporate it. One of the components that I like to bring up, and again, you can check the facts, this is not new information, it's just a reintroduction to yoga off the mat. And this is, I feel like, one of the ways that you do incorporate yoga into your life. So if you are taking in some of the different concepts and trainings of Patanjali and other folks within the yoga community, and even going back and doing your history to find out a little bit more about Kemetic yoga, but we won't start that fight on this particular podcast today. And at some point, I'd love to actually invite some different folks on to share that and give more information historically, experientially, and dig a little deeper into where did yoga actually start? Who started it? How did it show up? And what does it look like today? And how everyone can actually access yoga. In the interim, yoga off the mat looks like incorporating different theological components of yoga. It's not incorporating a religion. It's incorporating different aspects of how life is yoga and yoga is life. So just how that yin and yang keeps going and continuing. When you're exploring the aspect of yoga off the mat, this is looking at what are your thought patterns? How do you think? Why do you think this way? What are you holding to or attached to? What are some of those stories that you're making so important and so significant that you're willing to keep doing the same things over and over again, despite the impact of how it's showing up in your life? So this may look like you are you are showing up for yourself. Oh, and hey, on Facebook, you may be showing up for yourself. However, you might still keep signing up. And I know we've had our discussions on having qualifying conversations and how that impacts relationships. Taking this as an example and a way to incorporate yoga into your life. If you're looking for that place of how you can have peace and harmony and things are working together, there's a natural flow, and you're not fighting against yourself or other forces, take a moment to look at that one relationship currently in your life that seems to be impacting you the most. The one where you find yourself putting the most time, energy, and attention to and searching for answers, responses, or trying to create, shift, or change something new. Within that relationship, were you able to have qualifying conversations? And if you were, did you give yourself a chance to really look at what are you attaching to this relationship about yourself? What does having this connection or this interaction mean about you and for you? Are you giving yourself the space and opportunity to really dig deeper into why you keep showing up even if you're able to have these qualifying conversations, the thing is, everyone has the right to choose to do whatever they want to do. No one is required to have a qualifying conversation with you back. Just because you're making good choices and doing the right thing, it does not mean that someone else has to simultaneously do the exact same thing just because you did, or that they owe you because that's how you chose to show up. Nobody owes you anything and you don't owe them anything. And I mean, nobody, not your kids, not your parents, nobody. I mean, if you sign a contract or take out some debts, you probably owe those bill collectors and all, and the people you borrowed from. But in regards to choosing how you want to do life on your terms and how you want to present yourself, even to determine what relationships you do and don't keep, no one owes you anything. So if that's so, why would you feel compelled to maybe owe someone else to do something that they either have or haven't done for you or aren't interested in? When you find yourself still wanting to show up in those spaces for those people, there's some story or something that you're attaching to it. And if you are incorporating yoga into your life and exploring how you can have your own peace and harmony, at the point that this relationship is occupying more of your life energy and time, it's creating distance. When we're looking at yoga off the mat, so this is off the yoga mat, this is the real life, you're walking around, you're doing what you're doing, you're conducting business, you're going about what's happening. If you're attached to every single thing that you do and every single person that you engage with, can you imagine how heavy that can become over time? A concept that I really, really, really hold dear to is the art of non-attachment. I definitely go deeper and have shared a lot of information about the art of non-attachment in my coaching programs and different workshops that I host and do. So to be fair, I'm not going to dig all the way into it, but I definitely want to introduce it as an opportunity as you're exploring incorporating yoga for life, of life, is life, however you want to explore it and dig into it, that being able to not be attached to anything puts you in a position to also be available for everything that's for you. If you are attached to your current status and how you show up, or your hair, or your bank account, or your whatever the things are, when those things are changed, shift, get old, or fall out, or turn different colors, or people per se, and they walk away, if you hold a significant attachment to them, then when those things change or shift, that means a piece of you also changes and shifts. If this is, and I am not, please understand, I'm superhuman. If you know me, you know I got all the feelings, which is why this particular aspect of yoga off the mat and yoga being an incorporation of how I do life was so important and significant for me to learn, because based on my zodiac sign and just other things that happened when I came down and, materialized on earth, I care super deep. My feelings are pretty effortlessly heard, and it has required over time, as I've learned more, to get really comfortable with not being attached to everything that happens, so that I don't find myself in a perpetual state of my feelings being hurt, or find myself in a the opposite version of my feelings not being hurt, but me literally lighting ish up all over the place, setting stuff on fire, making sure other people feel my pain and feel my wrath. Could you imagine what that looks like if this is something that you're still holding on to? Or notice the people that do that, the people that are in your life, or maybe you come across them because maybe they're not allowed to be a part of your life anymore. But based on that relationship, they may have had a period of time where they could wreak a little bit of havoc. They could maybe rob you of a little of your peace because they were dysregulated. When you start finding your harmony and incorporating yoga as a means of doing life, it requires you to look at yourself first, to go inward and look at, what does my internal peace look like? How would I like it to be? What are the ways or things that how can I show up and do this in a way that's totally going to make a difference for me. And I say me first, selfishly, because if you feel good about you and you're incorporating the harmony and the synergy and just the integration of all the things that you like within your presentation of self, the other people around you will always get the overflow of what that is. If you're attached to a lot of things that are no longer available to you, people feel that weight and that burden as you interact with them. As you get more comfortable with not being attached to things, it's a whole lot easier to appreciate what you had access to, what's currently happening with you, and how you can find your silver linings in situations that don't feel good. Don't feel good, don't look good, don't taste good, all the things. Um, and start exploring how you can make shifts or changes. When you stay attached to whatever that thing is, whether it's that you're so this, you're so that, you've always been, it's always been, they've always been, imagine how much more work it takes for you to, once you let it go, to then have people see you in a different way. If you are in a state and space in life where you're doing something different, you actually show up in a totally different way, but they've got years and years of how you've historically, consistently always shown up. It's not their responsibility to see immediately that you've changed, but it's 100% yours to look at the time it took for you to get there, to choose to be different or show up differently and not be attached to things, to try on different ways of functioning. That, with that being said, it's still going to be a consistent, continuous process. People will only be able to notice who you are when they have maybe become no longer attached to who you were and how you made them feel previously. If they are in a place of maybe, I don't want to say just forgiveness, but truly being in a space of, all right, so then if this person is doing these things and this is where I'm at in life and this is how I feel about things, maybe there's a space and opportunity now to have these qualifying conversations. Maybe there's this opportunity to see if this friend has shifted into a different friend type that's able to access the benefits of maybe all the different ones incorporated into this goddess form of a friendship. Maybe I'm that person now, and now I can hold space in that same way for everyone else. Maybe I've finally gotten comfortable with, I don't even want that many people around me, and I would prefer to be just to myself for a period of time so that that inward introspection, hence another aspect of, one of those 8 limbs of incorporating yoga into life, it gives you a moment to really dig deeper into, so who is it that I want to be and why? Is this impacted by other people or is this genuinely just me? And if so, how do I want to go about doing it and recreating my life? How do I want to feel when I am being the best version of myself? If I've explored more into things like your human design or just any of the things that will give you significantly more insight into who you are individually, how do you want to go about incorporating it? And are there some things, places, and ways that you can go about doing it? Some folks may choose to go to therapy because they realize there's stuff they need to heal from and they're not in a position where they can do it by themselves. It's not that they're not capable of it, but they're aware that the help and support, embracing our femininity and allowing that to be more fluid, allowing people to pour into you and support you in your process and your journey gives you a lot easier of a possibility of being able to get there quicker. You don't have to learn all the knocks and lessons along the way. Allowing people to support you in your journey of transition is not only just a beautiful display of your femininity, but also people get to be a part of seeing the transformation. And they can maybe even save you from some of those harder lessons because they're willing to share the knowledge. You asked for it, they're willing to give it, you're receiving it, you're applying it. Again, this beautiful synergy of how things are continuing to integrate and create more harmony. You may look into finding a coach that supports you maybe with your business or maybe with your personal life or physical health. those different aspects are ways that other people can come along and support you and pour into you, give you more of an opportunity to incorporate how you want to do your life, how you want to yoga life for that matter. Um, with that being said, very, very absolutely don't feel no shame whatsoever. Plug for 3:30 at 3 p.m. in the LA area. I will absolutely be doing a workshop to help start this process of integrating more of your own femininity by allowing me, as well as my special guest, Latoya, to pour into you in this yoga workshop where we'll be exploring more about opening your hips and opening your heart. Two major areas in your body are clearly every part of our bodies are important and every part needs to be done. So by the time you're seeing this, if you missed it, dang it. But if you haven't, then yay, you still have an opportunity to jump in there. Um, I will be hosting, like I said, a workshop to really go through and look at energetically through the chakra system where energies are stored, how to start noticing what is or isn't showing up, and then, of course, how to move our bodies to start opening those spaces up. Our hips are pretty much like the base of our bodies, and they store a lot, period. So whether you're storing a lot of greatness, a lot of hurt, or just realize you've got a lot on your plate, a lot gets stored there. And the first weight usually starts in the heart. So imagine if we're so like overwhelmed with the things we've got going on that we got a little hunch going on and we're like cover it all up. Realistically, we're trying to guard and shield our hearts. When we're not as attached to things, it's not that you won't feel, but you'll be able to feel in a more fluid capacity that really affords you the opportunity to be available for more love, like, and things to come in for you. So you have the opportunity to join me in person on 3:30, and I am totally deeming this a pre-birthday celebration. So this is my pouring into the world because that following week, when my birthday actually hits, I will absolutely be taking time off and pouring into myself and allowing others to come and spend time with me and do things with me and do whatever things I like to do. And I am so not attached to the folks that don't want to do what I want to do. I appreciate them for being able to say it so that I'm not holding space or an expectation. But if you ever wanted an opportunity to practice with me in person, just to get a little more of that yoga off the mat and then move it onto the mat, and then even have a couple of meditations here and there and incorporating some tea that totally helps support the five sense experience of what's going on and what we're pouring into you, come join me. The links have definitely been posted. I'm definitely going to keep sharing about it. Like I said, zero shame in making an offering and putting it out there, because if I'm not sharing what I have available to share, then how am I helping other people access different components and parts of their lives? Like that feels a little wrong on my behalf if I don't. So I do look forward to seeing who all can make it out and get a little bit of that Aries energy. Maybe not all the fire, but definitely all on the inside, that love that fuels the fire in the first place for the significant level of passion. So do click the links. I can't wait to see you all there. I definitely have some other special things that I won't be sharing. Only the people that show up will get access and be privy to what I am choosing to give away because I want to, because I want to pour into other folks. And I get it. Everybody don't want to be poured into. That's cool. Don't come. But if you're like, you know what? I'm open. I would like to have a different experience. I'd like to learn a little bit more about yoga off the mat. I totally could move my body a little bit and be in a space where somebody is demonstrating what it looks like to share and give and pour into others. Like, why not? I'm here for it. Come join me. I'll see you on 3:30. We'll definitely be back next Tuesday, and I'm going to jump back into aiding this physical recovery process over here. So I hope you all have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing y'all on the next one. Bye.